So basically, I'm going to ask all the speakers to please come to the front to have a Q&A period. And we plan this way today is a special day. We have a new premier in the province of Ontario. She is going to be listening to new ideas. So today is a dawn of a new era of sorts. And that's why we started with this movie of Denmark, so you could see how the Danish people are doing things. Rob mentioned that Germany, as advanced as it is with renewable energy, it's not as advanced in other aspects. The Danish people are. The Danish people made a decision in the 1970s to go in a complete different decision than the Germans and the Swedes. They decided not to have nuclear power and instead to develop combined heat and power, district energy, renewable energy. It's a different strategy. You saw what it actually looks like now. The movie that you saw was from the equivalent of the Ontario Independent Electricity System Operator. This was not a movie of an NGO. This is a movie that the government of Denmark is putting forward for you to understand, for us to understand how they plan to move by the year 2020 to have 50% of their electricity coming from wind power, 50 by the year 2020. That's in 7 years from now. How they're doing that is by doing exactly what the folks in this panel are talking about, by merging the transportation file and the heating and cooling, the building file, with the electricity file to be able to balance the system with renewable energy. So, having said that, one last thing is our Sustainable Energy Initiative will be having some seminars with Danish people, Danish energy planners, so please keep an eye on the website for you to come and learn from our partners in the University of Aalborg and in the Danish government and in the Danish NGO sector. Having said that, we have people in the back. Tanya, if you could please go like this. If you have a question, please write it down and give it to Tanya so she can bring it to the front. We're recording this to then post it in the internet. There is no microphones on the ground, so it's important that you bring your question to us here to the front so we can read it and it can be recorded in camera. So Tanya, in the back, you will be taking questions. In the front here, while you prepare your questions, we will give the chance to the podium to prepare one question, which is, what would be the piece of advice, the most important piece of advice that you would give to the new Premier of Ontario in relation to the topics that you have discussed? So please, each of you think about it, the one that is ready to go first. I'm going to give you a head advantage just to tell you what I think it should be. As the Sustainable Energy Initiative, we would put forward that the first thing that the government needs to do is own what it has done as opposed to abandon what it has done and look forward into not a FEED 2.0, but how to expand the concept of sustainability to all the energy files that are related in this province. That is district and energy, combined heat and power, transportation, power generation. Bring it all together, devolve some of the decision-making power at the local level so people in local communities can do energy planning as the Danish people have done it. And most importantly, have access to inexpensive heating and cooling solutions at the local level. Having that, that's what renewable energy promises you, have very low cost heating and cooling. And this is particularly important throughout the province. So that gave you a little bit of a head start. So now I'm going to pass it to the panel so each of them can give the piece of advice to the future Premier or the new Premier of Ontario. So, Brian.
Short and sweet. Break down silos. Sorry. Short and sweet, break down silos. I think a theme that's been running through all of the discussion is the silo mentality from the Ministry of Energy to Ministry of Municipal Affairs to the OPA to the Ministry of Environment, each with their own agenda with very few cross-cutting themes and very little integration. It would be a crime against humanity at the end of the day if we said, dang, it was silos that killed us?
Thank you. Alex Boston.
I think probably one of the greatest opportunities is just a minor reform within the Ontario Municipal Act, which requires every local government in Ontario to integrate energy and carbon management into the official planning processes. And that will require local governments to just apply an energy and carbon lens to this paramount authority that they have. As we've understood, energy and carbon is profoundly spatial, and that will then precipitate some of these other opportunities, like the evolution and the improvement of FIT, a deeper appreciation of, wow, what no emission that we aren't really deeply harnessing our opportunities for managing thermal energy demand in the Ontario context.
Thank you, Alex. Fernando, your one suggestion.
Yeah, so I'll repeat actually what I had in my presentation. So I said the province. So if it's to the new premier, I don't think we have really enough time actually to get all that integration, the silos, at the provincial level. So I'm going to come between Brian and Alex here, which is little tweaking, right, to actually empower communities to do the integration, where it can be done. So the integration means, economic development, right, environment, energy, and land use. So we're doing it. We just need actually, to be honest, actually for the province, not to cross-purpose and cross-plan. So in a way, actually, a little more of a bottom-up approach.
Thank you, Fernando. And Mr. Kerr, thank you.
I think I alluded to this already, is clarity around the feed-in tariff program in its current state is, I think, very important. I know Jose encouraged us to think a little higher, but the marketplace, those that are builders and providers of products and services for renewable energy, are starting to leave the province. I think this is an urgent thing, that we need market signals for it. And a corollary to that is a higher level. Really question the fact of using energy and energy policy as an economic development tool. I think needs to be revisited, and I'm not really convinced it's the most powerful way to create jobs through subsidized energy rates. And there's those that would be giving me big stares right now to say that, but I think that needs to be revisited. Are you really going to create sustainable jobs that stay by having subsidized energy rates? I'm not 100% sure that's true.
Okay.